Trish is gone, and though I actually wanted her to go, I did feel a bit sorry for her when she was leaving. Celebrity Big Brother, Tuesday the 15th of April, episode 8. Tonight they were put into different teams. They had to play a board game on the floor, and whoever won got a VIP party, and they all got sparkly jackets, and Jojo said this is something I would actually wear, and I was loving the sparkly jackets. I've got 2 sequin jackets that I absolutely love. I was wondering why the gold team were the only ones with matching trousers though. Also, I'd have been like, Big Brother, can I just keep this? When they rolled the dice, their task or question came up on the wall, and Donna was asked to eat a Scotch bonnet and say who she thought was going to be evicted out the 3. And she says that she thought Patsy would go because she's into meditating and nobody's interested in it. There is absolutely not a chance in hell that I could eat a Scotch bonnet. I'd be like, ah, Big Brother, ask me 5 questions. I would rather stand up here and just say whatever rather than eat that because it would kill me. Daly had to give awards to the biggest diva, the biggest name dropper and the biggest flirt, and he chose Danny as the biggest diva. He would have been offended if he didn't pick him. Angelica is the biggest name dropper and Trish is the biggest flirt. Now he was obviously ripping the piss because everybody knows that Trish was the biggest name dropper, and also who the hell is she flirted with? Jack had to go head to head with somebody in a roast and he chose Patsy, and he was like, oh, it'll be like a soap off, and he was slagging EastEnders and he's saying, oh, your soap's been around for 40 years, try 65. And he was talking about the pubs and he's like, oh, this pub's way more legendary than the Queen Vic. But then she didn't really know what to say and she was in character and she was just basically saying, you drink all the tea in the house, you've drank like 4 tea bags in the past hour. And it was like the most random thing ever. So after they went through all that, it came up and says if you roll a 4 you win the game, and Angelica rolled a 4, so they won the VIP party. So it was Daly, Jack and Angelica, and they had like a wee rope thing out the back garden, and they got sushi and all this different food, and then they were actually playing the music, and Jack was actually dancing, and Trish was like, oh, this is the most animated I've seen him. And when he was in the diary room, they were singing We Are Family, and he says, oh, everybody's singing We Are Family, this could be my last night, and even though we don't mean it, we're still having fun. Even though the rest of the housemates didn't get a chance to go into the VIP bit with the food, they still managed to have a wee dance. As we seen last night, Jojo and Chris broke the rules. Technically it was Jojo, but she was writing secret messages on Chris's hand, and people on Twitter and other social media were saying she wrote bye or bye question mark. And I was like, let's not make assumptions. And even if she did write that, let's not look too much into it, So when Big Brother told them to stand up and says that they were writing secret messages, Chris says, oh, we were speaking French or German or something, and he was coming out with like the worst German ever. Little did he know that Trish could actually speak German, and she was talking to him and he did not have a fucking clue what was going on. So then Ella and Danny were like, oh, I knew that they were talking secretly to each other. Everybody talks secretly to each other. It's Big Brother. When Big Brother gave them their punishment, it was absolutely fucking piss poor. Jojo and Chris were only allowed to communicate through megaphones, and that was more of a punishment for the house. Who's coming up with these punishments? Can somebody at ITV give me an email if they're stuck? I'll be happy to make you a list of 50 or more punishments that you could use that's better than that. They fucking let them off scot-free. No wonder they break the rules all the time. Later, Big Brother called Jojo and Chris into the diary room, and Big Brother says, what was the secret message? At this point, I actually didn't think that they were going to show this. I thought that they were just going to let it go because people on social media were saying that she had wrote by or whatever. But that's not what she said. I was very surprised. She said, I've got a lot of friends who are like girls, and I feel like I don't really relate to them, and I've got friends who are boys and I don't really relate to them, but I've got a lot of non-binary friends and I feel like I relate more to them. So she's kind of thinking, am I non-binary? Now for me this was like, oh, she's going through a situation, she's still discovering herself and all that, and to me that's perfectly fine. But what the public's like, a lot of people are not going to like this. I feel like we're living in an age now where being lesbian and gay is mostly acceptable, as it should be. But when people, you know, start saying things like non-binary or whatever, people don't like it, and I think that this might actually go against her, unfortunately. What I actually found really lovely is that when Jojo came out into the garden and she was telling them, like, this is the message that I was saying, like, I don't really know how I'm feeling, don't know how to identify or whatever. And Trish and everybody in the house were like, listen, you don't need to put a label on anything right now, as long as you know, as long as the people who are close to you support you, it doesn't matter. And even Danny was like, you don't need to label it, just like, don't overthink it or whatever. And a lot of people were saying to her, like, she's just overthinking right now. On the Late and Live show, they were saying she's constantly on tour, she's constantly got her managers and people around her, and she never has a chance to stop and think. And this is the first time that she's ever actually had to sit and think, right, like, what's going on in my life? So obviously it can be overwhelming. When Jojo was speaking to Ella in the garden as well, she was saying, I really love my partner, they're really supportive. And this is, I think, the first time that I've seen her speaking about her partner. But she was talking about how that she'd fly out to the show and how it takes like 24 hours to fly out to see her and stuff like that. And Ella was saying, oh, I really wish I had somebody so supportive. And then they were talking about how, like, if they had never been on Big Brother, how weird it is. Like, they would never have crossed paths. And Jojo says we would never be friends. And as we know, Ella doesn't even like Jojo. Earlier on, Ella had been saying to Donna, there's people in here who are obviously playing a game. And Daly was like, oh, definitely. Look at Chris and Jojo. They do this for a living. This is what they're professional, like, reality TV people. And Donna was saying, but it is a game, so you can't really blame them for it. And it's not as if Daly was really saying anything bad. He was saying, look, this is what they do. And a lot of them are thinking that Chris and Jojo's friendship is fake for the sake of winning the show. I highly doubt it. Even Trish said that she thought that the relationship was in order to gain more followers, but what would be the point in that? Like, Jojo's already got literally tens of millions of followers. I don't know how many Chris has got. I hadn't even really heard him until he went into Big Brother. But surely you wouldn't be so close with somebody and have such a close friendship just so that people will follow you on Instagram. I want to say, is that what the world's coming to? But, like, the sad thing is, that is what it's coming to. On the Late and Live show, Tiffany was saying basically that Jojo fancies Chris and that he's got her all worked up and there's all this energy, this pent up energy and stuff, and Trisha was like, no, it's not even like that, she's discovering herself, they're friends. And I'm glad that Trish said that, because I don't like the fact that people are saying, oh, this is a showman's, because he was sitting tickling her back or because they hold hands or whatever. Like, I've said this in my past videos, I've had friendships like that with people, especially in my younger years, for like 18 to 25. Me and my friends used to sit and do stuff like that. It's absolutely not weird to me at all. Trish got voted out, she was absolutely gutted, and even though I wanted Trish to go, I really did feel sorry for her when she came out, because she says that when she was in there, it was like a bubble that she could escape talking about cancer and stuff like that. And at times she does seem like a really nice person, but just the comment that she made to Michael put me right off her. I put my 5 votes on Jack to stay only because somebody that I speak to on TikTok really wanted him to stay, and I wasn't bothered either way as long as Trish went. But tomorrow night is noms again, so I thought it was just going to be Patsy and Jack that were up, but apparently they're nominating again. I hope they do face-to-face nominations soon. Let me know what you thought of last night's episode. Do you think the right person went? If you're interested in speaking about Big Brother, give me a follow, and if you know anybody else that's interested in it, share this video. I'm trying to get to 10,000 followers, and I'm a far distance away, but I'm manifesting it. So maybe you can help me out, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye!